Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? You guys feeling good? Have you checked your portfolios lately? Are they looking good? Mine's looking decent. No, Jimmy's is looking really good. And I'm looking good, Robin's not, and you are, and I don't know where this conversation is going, but hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every day, coming at you live from our studio. Bitcoin finally crosses above $30,000. So what's next? We're going to discuss that. We're also going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin miners. There's some never-ending FUD cycle. But we have a video from Riot, the company that mines Bitcoin, an in-depth look and behind the scenes, and whether they do omit CO2 or not. We're going to watch that video together. We also have some big XRP news, some big Cardano news. MetaMask is helping you on and off-ramp your fiat, and much, much more. But first, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and stale information and repackage it up in a fun and sexy way. We were talking about XRP and Cardano. I am curious, where is my Cardano maxis? My XRP Super Bowls.
You think we'll get more XRP logos or Cardano?
That's where I was going to. All right, so let me see what side of community lands on. Are you XRP or are you team Cardano? Put your emojis in the chat if you are a member. If not, just hang tight. Jimmy will gift them to you later. Also, Bitcoin over 30,000. Let's go, Rocco! We back, baby. And you know what? Our member names are in green, and so is Michael Saylor right now. He is in the green. His average buy is at 29,000. That boy's now a genius.
We actually do have a video of Michael Saylor.
Oh, yeah?
Celebrating, yeah.
This
is Michael Saylor walking around MicroStrategy offices after breaking even. So, this is our friend Michael, and I'm actually going to mute this so we don't get copywritten again. But yeah, Michael Saylor is like, I told you this Bitcoin was a good idea. And, so yeah.
I know that they say that prison ages you, man. I mean, dude kind of look like he got 15 years older, right?
Yeah. Top G got older. We also have a picture of Richard Hart. Looks like he also made some profits from this latest Bitcoin pump. Upgraded fashion. Sick Gucci bag. Is that Gucci bag? What is that? Oh, no, but dude's looking...
is that fire
Malibu's most wanted.
Camouflage? Is that what that is? Is that a thing?
Fireflage.
So when his whole network burns down, you can't find him.
Wow.
Woo!
Wow. If you're a Mexican in here,
no pulse. X. Yeah. Woo!
Rocco's missing all the good cues. You didn't do it, liar.
I did it. The guys in the chat, did you hear it?
Probably
okay.
no.
All right.
What else did I have? Oh, we have some more Easter festivities to share with you. So the bunny made a stop at the White House press conference. Let's see what he had to say.
Is this real?
This is
Is
for
that
sure
out
real.
there?
Good question.
Are they going to ask him a question?
Trump indictment?
It's underneath the custom.
Gary Gensler.
At least the fake one.
I'm telling you, man, there's got to be there is President Xi is looking at this and is like,
Fire!
these guys are clowns, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably like, we were going to attack them, but they'll just crumble on their own, because they can't even figure out We have
This is the president's, the White House press conference, and you're rolling out.
bunny.
Even Siri doesn't understand.
Wow.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Miguel said another animal to the circus. It does feel like a circus, actually.
Dude, man, it's just comical, man. It's. I mean, what's next, man? We're gonna have a groundhog on Groundhog's Day.
Actually,
like pop up there.
Actually, there's talks. There's talks. You hear Joe Biden is hiring a team of social media influencers targeting Gen Z, and he's even given them an office at the White House for his next presidential bid.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we have this news, breaking news. So Bitcoin CEO to increase prices. This was announced yesterday, and that's kind of why we got to 30K. So yeah, obviously there is no Bitcoin CEO.
Really? Mm. So real quick, I do want to give some love to the chat. We're at 100 viewers. We're at 45 likes. That means we're at a sub 50% like ratio. Ladies, gentlemen, kids, and old people, hit the like button if you like the video.
Kids and old people.
And also, if you're new here,
You're old. You know that, right?
I am old.
There you go.
If you're new here, but I dress young, unlike you. If you are new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. I did notice.
You've either been on new meds or off your meds, because the last couple of days, I don't know what's you all right, man?
All right, so new people here. We have Fire Up, Paul Wu, Leroy, Kitten Smith, Digital Woody, S. DeVille. Also, we have Joshua C. and Myrtle San, Jerome. And then I saw one other new person in here where you have Brian Naval and Joshua C. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. I would like to open up the club today when we get to 250 people.
You said if we hit 30K, we're going to open up the club, remember?
That was yesterday's show, during the show. But if 250 viewers, we're going to open this damn thing up. Thank you.
Okay. Speaking of opening things up, we've opened Pandora's box when it comes to AI. And so, we always talk about the good, but there are some drawbacks like the AI, the AI making up stories about people. And we have one example. This is hallucinating ChatGPT wrongly claims law professor sexually assaulted a student. ChatGPT falsely accused prominent criminal defense attorney and law professor Jonathan Turley of sexual harassment. This is like, listen to this. This is kind of crazy, man. It's a little scary. The chatbot they made up an entire Washington Post article about a law school trip to Alaska in which Mr. Turley was accused of making sexually provocative statements and attempting to touch a student, even though Turley never even went on a trip, never even been to Alaska. He said, quote, it was a surprise to me since I've never gone to Alaska with students. The Post never published such an article, and I've never been accused of sexual harassment or assault by anyone. After receiving an email from a fellow law professor who had utilized ChatGPT to research instances of sexual harassment by academics, Turley was then told of what they found. And so we got this freaking AI just going out there and making up random articles.
I don't know. Is that?
nuts,
I don't
bro.
think so. But what about if you? I mean, you can ask, okay, be this person, write a script, an article with this person. You can put the input. You can fabricate it.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the AI doesn't necessarily understand the ethics and morals of truth, right? It's
It does. Yeah, remember?
Here's that. I mean, but
prompts you.
it doesn't on like it doesn't understand the gravity of the situation, right? And so it's looking to give you a polarizing answer. And so a lot of answers, especially in today's social media environment, are these allegations and these stories. They're very headline grabbing, and they are taking prominent names out there in society And it's like, hey man, we got another person. Here's what happened. And so it's making its own story. It's doing exactly what it's intended to do. But now we're starting to see unintended consequences. And my concern is that if you were to couple this, layer that on top of the AI for video, where they're deep faking people. I mean, what happens if all of a sudden you got a deep fake of somebody sexually harassing somebody? Like there's actual visual evidence. And then it creates an article to go with it and a testimony. God forbid somebody passes away and there's like testimony out there that they can't, they can't actually go and verify, right? Think about that. Imagine if somebody's like last words or something were taken into account. They passed away. You couldn't ask that person, but like, look, this is their last social media post. Their last social media post before they passed away, died, was X, Y, and Z. They accused somebody, and it wasn't even written by them, man. That's some crazy ass times we're living in, man. Right?
That is crazy. I'm doing a little. So I keep hearing Justin's son got arrested.
What?
Yeah, and I'm trying to confirm it.
Justin's son got arrested?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. But
oh man, that's crazy. Well, here while you take a look at that, I'll just discuss some prices of crypto real quick. So Bitcoin, as we mentioned, over 30,000. It went over 30,000, dropped back down last night, and so here it was last night. I saw this. I was like, ooh. I was like, is it not going to hold support? But I think it's going to hold this 30K support. David, real quick, do you think 30K is now the floor, and that we'll be trading above 30K from now, and we'll hold this as resistance moving forward? Or do you think this is temporary?
Ask me again in 2 days.
Well, in 2 days, I'll have the answer.
Yeah, but
temporary?
we're talking long term, right?
I'm talking about,
or just in the short term.
Yeah, is it going to stay over 30K by the end of the week? I don't know. Also, guys, maybe David, I don't know. We'll be down at Consensus, Austin, Texas, at the end of the month.
I will not be there.
You're not going to be there? And so if you guys are planning on going, please reach out to us. We'd love to meet up with you. Yeah, there you go.
No, what do you guys think? No, I don't think the Justin Sun thing is true.
No. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's true, but who knows? Justin Sun just tweeted 4. The most popular number this year so far. Speaking of AI, just going to stay on that for a second. Charles Hoskinson tweeted this. And he said, can't wait to see these implanted into people for 24/7 monitoring. And this is how China is using AI. Thoughts on that, Robin? Where, you got kids, I got kids. They start putting these little headbands on them and they can see when they're paying attention, when they're not paying attention.
The thing is you can't create good habits. You can't force good habits. Like, I mean, I'm sure you can have, if you take 100 people and you're like, hey, we have the monitoring system here, and then you take 100 people, you don't have the monitoring system, and you test them, sure, maybe a small percentage of people might be more effectively trained in a certain way, but naturally, you need to develop these habits on your own. And you know what happens if you're not paying attention? You get bad grades. And what happens when you get bad grades? Then, it shows academically, and then you learn from your mistakes and you correct that. And if you try to correct all of people's problems without letting them correct it themselves, you never really learn any lessons. And you grow up older and you never face any adversity because you're a damn robot and you've been trained to trained by the system to not have any flaws. And to build your character to be a successful person, to have like wild dreams and to take on like extreme risks, to start a crazy business and be successful and change the world, like you gotta think outside the box. You gotta be a little crazy, man. You gotta think freaking big, and you gotta quit. You know, some of the biggest CEOs are people that dropped out of school. What do you think that head reader is gonna say when you're like, "Hey, man, I'm dropping out of high school"? Beep, beep, beep. You're not paying attention. You're not even paying attention to school. Like you're dropping out, beep, beep, beep. Right? And so you need. We part of growing up is fucking up, man. That's part of life. That's why 99% of successful people were degens when they were 20. Because you know what? You need to learn. You need to scrape through the bottom of life for a little bit. You need to go backwards a few times. You need to try some things out. You need to be hella irresponsible. And then when you come out of it, you realize, hey man, I need to not do this, because if I don't do this, I can succeed in life, man. And this is trash, bro. This is trash. And this control, it's not good, man. It ain't good.
If you had a kid in school and they were doing that, would you take them out?
No. What do you mean? Like if it was mandatory that they had to wear that
Are
thing?
you gonna take it out?
Yeah. If my kid is wearing a damn space goggle freaking Halo headset thing, bro, nah, you can come hang out with me in the studio.
You understand it's not an option there, you know. That's not like you get.
Yeah, it's not an option. That's the crazy thing, man.
Right there is not an option.
That's the crazy thing, man.
Yeah.
You know what else is crazy?
What's that?
We have not seen, we're going to shift this narrative to crypto now. We have not seen 4 consecutive months to start the year in the green since 2013. Robin, April has been historically an extremely high green month for Bitcoin. We have gains of 50%, 32%, 33%, 34%, 34%.
You think it's because people get their tax returns?
That's what a lot of people say. Let me ask you this question. Let's start here. You think April's going to end red or green?
Where did we start the month at? Yeah, it's going to be green, man.
It's going to be green.
Yeah.
You thinking 30%? Right along that line? We've had
I think
4
no.
from 2017 to 2020.
I think we're going to hang out at 30 for a while. I don't think we're going to be at 40%, man. I mean at 40,000.
You don't think so?
No, because what is 30 something percent from the beginning of the month? You're talking about like 39,000, something like that. 38, 39.
I see some people putting green. Why don't we get a 1 and 2 going here? If you guys think April's going to end green for Bitcoin, put a 1. If you think April's going to end red for Bitcoin, put a 2. 1 for green, 2 for red. Month of April. But looking at this, okay, 39% in January. February was a wash. 23% in March. And let's just say another 10 to 30% in April. We're in a bull market, right?
It depends on what you're constituting a bull market. Is it bull market?
What are you constituting a bull market, Robin?
I think the bull market is a parabolic run up right before what we've deemed bull markets before. So I don't think that halfway through 2018 is a bull market. I think the bull market started in 2020. But what the bottom was in halfway through 2018. Did the bull market start in 2018 or did it start in 2020? That's where I'm getting at. Now, is the bottom in? Sure, yeah.
Bull market,
but I don't constitute this as a bull market. I think the bull market, when we're at say 45,000 and then we shoot up to 80,000 in 2024, I think that is the bull market. I think that is when the bull market starts. Now, I think the bottom is in. I think that we're trying to figure out where Bitcoin's price is going to settle in at for the next year, and it's going to trade around that range. Same way that Bitcoin bottomed down to, was it like 3,000 last cycle, and then it really kind of hit 8,000 was realistically where it kind of traded at for a while. 8 to 10,000 or 6 to 10,000 is where it kind of hung out there for a little while. I think that's where we're going to see it. Like, where is Bitcoin going to trade at for the course of a year? Is it going to be between 30 and 45,000? And then we get to the next, the next halving, and hey, boom, we shoot up to 80,000 over the course of like 3 months.
There are some people saying we're not going to see a sub 30K Bitcoin again. Some people saying that. What do you think we're going to see 25K Bitcoin again?
I don't know. With the recessionary environment that we're in, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I don't think we're gonna go under 20,000. I don't think we're gonna test lows again. But the risk on assets are still correlated with the general move of the economy, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the economy. I would say it's about a 50-50 chance that we go through this long recessionary period. The S&P 500 and global markets pull back significantly from where we're at now, maybe another 20%, 30% drawdown for the S&P 500. Gold historically has followed as well. I think commodities are going to follow. They'll rebound quicker than the larger markets. But I don't know, that's what I think.
Do you think this whole choke point 2.0 is helping the short squeeze?
I think people don't care. I think that
No, I'm saying,
the
like-
FUD. No, I think the FUD has played itself through the system, and I think that whatever narrative the U.S. has, unless it's an outright ban in crypto, whatever the hell the DOJ and the SEC and the Treasury Department and the White House cabinet, whatever the hell they want to discuss or label crypto as, and I think we've already been through so much FUD, we've been through so much crap that if you were gonna exit crypto, if you're gonna sell your bags and be like, you know what, I don't want any exposure to crypto, I don't trust it, those people have already left. And so what we have left, who is here now, are people that believe in crypto and they don't care about a mandate from the government. They don't care what Janet Yellen thinks about crypto. They don't care about what the New York Times writes about Bitcoin mining. These people that are here, they're in for the long haul. Now, when FTX collapsed, there was still a lot of these Dogecoin people hanging out, a lot of people that were still from the retail FOMO people. But if you haven't sold yet, Janet Yellen ain't gonna all of a sudden make you sell all your Bitcoin. So I don't take the government as a factor for a massive drawdown.
Interesting. All right. Let's take a look at what the rest of the markets are doing. It's not just Bitcoin that's up. We have ETH over $1,900. Massive day tomorrow as the Shanghai upgrade goes live. Now, guys, if you're not familiar with how the Shanghai upgrade is going to work, what's going to happen to all the locked ETH, and are people going to sell, and what's going to happen to price, go watch the video we did on the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade. Not everything is going to get unlocked at once. I want you guys to understand that. It's not $500 billion is going to flood the markets. That's not how it's going to work. So if you want more info, go watch that video. So this is up 2% over the last 7 days. Are we going to get to 2K? What's going to happen tomorrow after the upgrade goes live? We've seen in the past with projects like Cardano, like Ethereum, we see a big run up prior to the big upgrade or big announcement. Well, not the big announcement, but the big upgrade or the big, like with the merge. And then when it happens, price takes a dump. Do you think we're going to see the same thing? And if it does take a dump, Robin, where will ETH settle?
Well, for it to take a dump, it's got to have a rally, right?
Got to pee, right?
You don't have to pee and take a dump.
Have you ever? Okay, this is.
Anyways, no. Here's the thing. In the past, we've seen a big anticipation, a large increase in volume, and we haven't seen that. We had a gradual increase. Ethereum has essentially followed the price movement of Bitcoin, and so it hasn't outperformed Bitcoin. Do you have the Bitcoin and ETH? Can you pull the two up? The Bitcoin versus ETH chart, and you'll see that it hasn't like broken free and all of a sudden just rallied. The two have been moving in tandem as of lately with this upgrade, and so for that reason, I don't think it's gonna dump. It's not like Bitcoin's gonna stay at 30,000 and Ethereum is gonna pull back down to 16. It's not gonna happen. Man, like, do you think that's possible? Bitcoin stay at 30 and Ethereum go back down to 1,600?
Is it possible? Yeah.
You think it is?
Okay, one more time. Sorry.
The question is, if Bitcoin stays at 30,000, we're here on Thursday, and then Ethereum just sells off to the point where it's at $1,600.
Because of what's happening, I'm going to say
sure,
yes.
Yeah. You think it's possible?
I think it's possible. Because of the upgrade, yeah.
So you think that it's possible that the Ethereum people will dump after the news?
Is it probable? No. If I were to put a percentage on it, I'd say like 5%.
Okay, 5%. But it's not really, realistically, it's not possible. Okay, there you go.
But here's the thing. I think sentiment has changed to the point where if it does get down to $1,600, I think there's going to be more than enough buy pressure to shoot that thing back up. So
yeah, and so what's going to happen is, now if we would have went into the Shanghai upgrade, Ethereum would have been at $2,300, $2,200. Bitcoin still would have been at 30,000. Then I would have been the first one over here beating all kinds of hammers. I'd have been like, guys, this thing is about to crash after the update. I'm like, nothing fundamentally has changed other than you can finally unlock your staked crypto. So at the end of the day, people are expecting grandioso, and it doesn't play out that way. And what we've seen is that price has steadily increased in correlation to the price of Bitcoin. So without a movement in the overall market, without a movement in Bitcoin, you're not going to see a pullback in Ethereum. Green light. If you're looking at DCA, hold steady. There you go. And then we got a few new people here. If you're new, say hello so we can drop an whole lot back at you. We have Verderi, Alex81, Jeltston, Misco, Games SSR. Also, we have Rodney Crowden, CB Coop, and then that's all I got. And Nicholas Rogers as well. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
ETH is bleeding against Bitcoin. But everything
that's what I'm saying, is that there's no way Bitcoin holds steady and ETH just dumps. Maybe that sell pressure from people unlocking, maybe it's a little bit more than anticipated and we go down to 1,800 or something, but it ain't going to be nothing dramatic or drastic now.
Well, here's what we got to look at too, right? You got to assume a lot of people are anticipating whether a big pump or a big dump, and so you're assuming the degens we have in our space probably have some leverage trades, right? And so if the price starts, going down and it hits, it's 1820 or 1790 and people start getting liquidated and it starts cascading, then next thing you know, we're at 1600. Like I said, is it probable? No. Is it likely? No, but there's definitely a chance. But here's, again, that's the beauty of it. If you're in the space and you know it and you understand it and you enjoy it and you love it and you believe in it, if ETH gets to $1,600, guess what? That's a buying opportunity. So very exciting. From ETH to, let's take a look at what else the rest of the market's doing. Tether dominance continues to go up there. $80.4 billion. This thing was down to under 60 billion. Under 65 billion. And all the money is flowing back into Tether. A lot of it's from BUSD. A lot of it's from USDC. Some people say it's better to have one stable coin that everyone uses. Some people say we need competition. What do you say, Robin? Would you like to have options outside of Tether, or let's get one perfected?
No, because I mean you have a larger. Here's the thing: you never know what's going to happen. I mean, these are centralized entities that are running these stable coins, and God forbid all of cryptos in one stable coin, that thing goes under or has a mishap. We saw what happened with Circle. Not to say that they were going under, but I mean, you saw them come off the peg. Just imagine if we were in the middle of a bull market And for the span of a week, nobody could use a stablecoin. Because why the hell would you buy a 94 cent, 93 cent, 89 cent stablecoin for $1? You know, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't.
I mean, a lot of people did with USDC and made money.
You know, but I'm just saying that, like, let's just say you want to go buy Cardano as an example. Are you gonna say, and are you gonna be trading the Cardano and USD pair or USDC pair? No,
If it's under $1, no.
exactly. It's.
I'm talking from a point of like arbitrage.
But what I'm saying is from a point of just functionality, and from a point of ecosystem, from a point of commerce, from a point of trading, from a point of operating the world that is crypto, you don't want everything in one coin. Something goes wrong with that thing, look what happens. You had Coinbase shut down a ton of their trading pairs, because all their trading pairs were in USDC.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get access to a lot of your tokens. They halted a lot of trading. Why? Because they were all in on one token. And we don't need that, man. We don't need that. It's the same problem that we have now. Everyone's using the dollar. The dollar's the world reserve currency, and then soon as you get some unfavorable printing and regulation and sanctions or whatever it is, you realize, like, hey man, the dependence on one currency is not ideal. The same holds true in crypto. You know what also holds true? This like button. Did you hit this like button?
That's the truth.
Because if you haven't,
Speak the truth.
speak the truth.
Did you
Elbow drop that like button. Thank you.
Is the way.
Anaconda squeeze.
Redman,
Redman said your shirt is making him want to FOMO.
my shirt?
Yeah.
My wife bought this for me. Look good? You like it?
So what we got going on today, we have some news regarding Bitcoin. And Bitcoin breaks above 30K for the first time since June of 2022, which was when old Alex Muskamsky decided to rug pull every single person and lie and steal, and he's a jerk. So this is from CoinDesk. Bitcoin moved past the 30K level for the first time since June 10th as March's banking turbulence faded further into the distance and investors grew more optimistic about U.S. central bank monetary policy. This is the following quotes are from Richard Miko, who is the CEO and chief legal officer at Banksa, which is a payment and compliance infrastructure for crypto. He said, quote, "It's clear that the market is pricing a slowdown in growth and in turn, a loosening of monetary policy by the Fed over the course of this year. For evidence of this, just look at the bond market. A check of the bond market shows the 2-year Treasury note has fallen below 4% from a peak of above 5% in early March as traders rapidly reversed their expectations of future Fed rate hikes. Bitcoin last topped 30K on June 10th as it was on its way down below 20K. This following is another quote from Mr. Miko. Bitcoin is also being seen as a reliable store of value that lacks the issues that come with storing your money by the way of a third-party intermediary or a bank. Bitcoin is now properly starting to be perceived as a risk-off asset." Do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
I mean,
It is starting to be viewed by the mainstream investors, legacy finance.
So then
more people are coming around to crypto.
So what you're saying is it's decoupled. It's decoupled.
No,
It's
I'm saying
decoupling,
it's starting. People are starting. It's not there yet, and there's still a lot. There's still a lot of people that are investing in Bitcoin. There's still a lot of whales, still a lot of like hedge funds or whoever it is. People with money, the people that have excess cash are still investing in the same way that they were before. Hey, we got a lot of profits. Let's move profits into more higher risk assets. They deem Bitcoin. Although there is a growing narrative, there is a large percentage of people that are opening their mind to what Bitcoin is. The fact that it is not only a store of value, but there is, if you buy and custody it yourself, there is no counterparty risk. And what we've seen lately with the bank situation is that what was deemed safe before is no longer safe. Even these treasury bonds. I mean, how did the banks get into the problems in the first place? The one asset that is risk-free, hey, you might be risk-free on default, but you know what's not risk-free is buying it, and then all of a sudden the Fed jacks up the interest rates and they're essentially trading at below their value for God knows how many years. Because the Fed is out there saying that, hey, we're not going to lower interest rates for years. So if you had bought those treasury bonds, the 10-year treasury bonds, 5-year treasury bonds over the court, before they raise interest rates a year ago, you're underwater. And you got to hold those to maturity. God forbid you need to draw on those. God forbid something happens in the economy and you need to cash those out. And so Bitcoin essentially is a safe haven asset that is, one, not manipulated by government, can't be seized, and there is no risk to it if you custody it yourself. At least no counterparty risk. You can lose the damn password yourself, but that's on you.
Okay, so in this article, the guy talks about Bitcoin pumping because they're expecting a shift in monetary policy, right? And in the same article, talks about how Bitcoin is essentially decoupled. It also talks about de-dollarization as part of driving the narrative to send Bitcoin at 30K. What is it more of? Is it more of a narrative shift that people see Bitcoin as a safe haven, a hedge against inflation, digital gold, a risk-off asset, or is it more in line with what people are expecting the Fed to do and for them to reverse course? If you had to throw your hat into
what
one
it
of those
is
rings.
that people are realizing what it is. People are realizing what Bitcoin is. In the same way that we don't deem Bitcoin as any one thing, right? We don't say, oh, it's digital gold. That's what it is. No, Bitcoin, well, it's the first cryptocurrency. It's the leader in the markets. It's a safe haven asset. It can't be seized. It's also digital gold. You can move it. You can remember the seed phrase. Also, you can leverage it. You can send it as payments if you really wanted to. We realize the full scope of what Bitcoin brings and how it just circumvents all of the trash that's out there already legacy-wise. Traditional finance, all of the inconvenience, the inefficiencies, the manipulation, none of that exists in Bitcoin. Well, maybe a little bit of manipulation on price, but not the manipulation on the physical currency, the circulating supply, the printing, all of that. So what we are accustomed to when it comes to how we look at Bitcoin, other people are starting to realize it. I don't want to say everyone. There's a large majority of people that know what Bitcoin is. It used to be 5-10 years ago, you would say, hey, Bitcoin, and you'd be lucky to get 5% of people that had even heard of it. Now,
I mean, think about your first reaction when you heard Bitcoin.
Now, it ain't even about the reaction, but you just got to think that nobody knew what Bitcoin was 10 years ago. Like, you'd never even heard of it. There was a small percentage of people, maybe 10%, 5%, whatever it is, even knew what Bitcoin was via a name. Otherwise, it was just a term. And now people know what Bitcoin is. So now the general population understands when you say Bitcoin, hey, digital currency, whatever, cryptocurrency, blockchain. Yeah, that's it. That's where their knowledge ends. However, what we're seeing now is a general understanding of the benefits of Bitcoin, more or less an insight to what Bitcoin does as far as the white paper and why it's unique on its own. And I think people are waking up to that. And so 5-10 years ago, nobody really knew too much about what Bitcoin was. Then 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago, everyone started to realize what Bitcoin was. The general population understood what it was as far as the name, the recognition. Now people are waking up because of the fear of the banks, because their friends are talking like, hey, man, you know what? This bank situation. Hey, inflation situation. Hey, the government's been doing this. Hey, look what happened in Ukraine. hey, they're taking donations of Bitcoin. As these little things keep piling up, people start to realize that, hey, man, this thing is for real, man. And it has some properties that are unique in the universe, right? There's nothing else like it. There's nothing else like it. And people are starting to wake up to that. It's gradual, and it's not a decoupling. It's not going to be something that just happens overnight, but
It's not
over the course of time, it's starting to speed up now. But people are starting to realize
decoupling is underway.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Because you can't say the narrative is shifting to risk off and then not say it's decoupling.
It is decoupling slowly. And here's the thing: like if we go into, I'm still in the camp that if we go into a deep recession, the price is gonna follow, man. If S&P 500, the overall markets, if we have a downturn, Bitcoin's going down with it, but it's gonna rebound faster.
Okay, let's
But
say that.
now-
Okay,
now,
hold on.
Banking collapse, that's different. If the banking collapse, then people lose trust in the system and they're going to look for an alternative. So if we go into a recessionary period because banks fail, then people will wake up to like, oh my God, I need to protect my money. I don't trust the banks. And although that narrative is also increasing, that's not the general thought of the population.
Let me ask you this question. If the S&P, NASDAQ go down 50%, where's Bitcoin?
It depends on how long of a drawdown that is.
Say it takes a month.
Oh, that's a crash, man. Yeah,
That's a massive
Bitcoin's price goes down too.
So what? Under 20K?
I don't know, 50%. That puts it down to 50. I think we bounce off.
that's
I think we bounce off of the 16K mark. I say wherever we put our low in. If the S&P 500 drops 50% from where it is now, which is a
That would be a massive
which is a massive crash over the course of 1 month. That is literally just the stock market crash. That would be
extreme. Okay,
And
1
so
month.
then-
That's extremely. That's
what you're
saying. Yeah. Okay.
And so then I think Bitcoin would drop down to where it was as well, which is roughly 50% as well, maybe a little less. Yeah. So yeah, I think it'd bounce off of 16.8 or wherever Bitcoin's low was.
I don't know, man.
16.7. Yeah, I think it bounces right off of 16.7.
I don't think Bitcoin ever goes under 20K again.
If the stock market crashes 50% in a month, it will. Unless it's driven by the banks. If it's driven by the banks and people lose faith in the banks and they want to preserve their money and their wealth and they don't trust the banking system, then at that point, sure, I think you would probably get an opposite effect. I think initially you might get a drawdown on the days that the markets sell off, and then just it almost instantaneously rebound as people like start to realize like, hey man, I got this $10,000. Sure, Bitcoin, YOLO.
What does the chat think? If the stock market crashes, will Bitcoin crash with it? Will it go under 20K? Let us know your thoughts. 1 yes, 2 no. Also, we do have a poll up. Make sure to cast your vote. We'll be closing that poll here in a second.
It's not a stripper pole that we have here in Vegas, but we also have other things in Vegas that we do very well. Clubs, nightclubs, parties. And we almost at 250.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just want to throw it out there.
Wow.
We're going to open the club at 250. Thank you.
You know who's not thinking about a recession or anything? It's CleanSpark, as they have bought 45,000 ASICs for $145 million. This is from Cointelegraph. On April 11th, American Bitcoin miner CleanSpark announced that it has purchased 45,000 Antminer S19 XP application-specific integrated circuit mining rigs for $144.9. That's what ASIC stands for, by the way, guys. Application-specific integrated circuit mining rigs. $145 million.
I might ask you that again later when we're having lunch.
Application-specific integrated
and I'm going to say,
circuits.
what does ASIC stand for?
Application-specific integration circuits. The purchase is expected to add 6.3 exahash per second, which they currently are at 6.7. So they're looking to double. Excuse me. After the purchase, the firm's expected hash rate will account for an estimated 3.8% of the entire Bitcoin network. Now, here's the thing, guys. You know, people say Bitcoin isn't decentralized. They're spending $145 million to buy 45,000 ASICs. And even at that, they're only going to be at 3.8% of the entire Bitcoin hash rate. This is a quote from Zach Bradford, the CEO of CleanSpark. He said, quote, the Antminer S19 XP is the most power-efficient Bitcoin mining machine available in the market today, and a key component in our continuing work to build some of the most efficient Bitcoin mining facilities in the country. Now, why else is this such a big deal? Well, if miners are profitable, you see they reinvest a lot of their profits into their business, which is, ASICs and mining and stuff. Now, their break-even price for Bitcoin has significantly dropped. Let's say CleanSpark had the two-generation old ASIC unit, right? Break-even was $22,000 Bitcoin. With this investment, let's just throwing random numbers out there, their break-even price for Bitcoin is now $6,000. So why is that beneficial to Bitcoin's price in the network? Well, if miners aren't having to sell off at 22K or having to unplug because it's not profitable to mine Bitcoin, well, then that's a positive, right? What are your thoughts on this, Robin?
Yeah, as we're going to see more and more miners buy more and more ASICs because they have more revenue, right? That's essentially it, man. It's just normal business economics. Hey, if I bring in an extra 30% in revenue this year, I can reinvest that 30% into my company. Now, whether or not it's paying people more, opening up a new location, or in the business aspect of a Bitcoin miner, buy more ASICs. There's not a lot of other places to reinvest in when it comes into a Bitcoin mining operation. A lot of these operations they open up, they only have like 5 or 6 people that even work there. And I was watching some documentaries. They're setting up these big Bitcoin miners up in New York State, and they would build it. They'd employ a bunch of people. They'd have all kinds of construction workers over there, and then after it's operational, 5-6 people. They just run the whole damn thing. And on a side note, I actually I found out that ASIC also stands for sound mind and a sound body. You might be wondering, like, how? Why? Yeah. It doesn't stand for what was it? What did you say it was? Architectural asymmetry. What was it?
It was.
Say you don't remember. You don't remember. But here's a nice picture of an ASIC here. So an ASIC.
That's basic.
ASIC.
It's a basic.
ASICs.
They used to be a very good shoes.
So ASIC, the name actually is the acronym for Anemia Sana Incorpore Sano, which is Latin for sound mind and a sound body. So you are wrong, sir. You are wrong. This is an ASIC, sound mind, and a sound body. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You gotta run 20 miles to get it.
Rocco still has like 2 or 3 pairs of these, right, Rocco?
This is definitely a Rocco shoe.
Believe it or not, the ASICs used to make a very good shoes for people that were in the Olympics, and they were super expensive back in the 90s. And yes, I own some ASICs as a
This
shoe.
definitely looks like a shoe you'd buy at Costco. I'm just saying.
No, this one lately, they've probably been bought. That's terrible.
Like, you could definitely get like the Nautica pullover, the ASIC shoe, and Levi jeans at Costco, and some tires as well.
You need a belt
an
too.
Extremely large box of Fruity Pebbles.
All right. Staying on the mining, got some more good news. Arkansas joins Montana, Texas with bills on guidelines and protection for Bitcoin miners. The U.S. state of Arkansas joined Montana and Texas this year in proposing legislation to regulate Bitcoin mining while also offering legal protections to companies operating such businesses, a stance which is in contrast to national regulators like the SEC. The state's Bitcoin bill, known as Data Centers Act of 2023, has passed in both the Arkansas House of Representatives and Senate and now awaits the governor's approval. It seeks to protect miners from discriminatory regulations and taxes with clear guidelines. Under the legislation, crypto miners will have the same rights as data centers, which the state recognizes as a value to the local economy. This is very interesting. The picture in Texas is more mixed, with legislation introduced on April 4th that would eliminate some incentives for crypto miners in the state, while in March, the state introduced a bill in support of Bitcoin mining, which is still pending at the House Committee on State Affairs. Being given the same rights as data centers, which the state recognizes as a value to the local economy. That's interesting to me. What are your initial thoughts there, Robin?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
should they be treated the same as data centers?
Well, at the end of the day, like, what is the difference? I mean, realistically, what is the difference if you take away the purpose, right? You take away the end purpose, the end product, the end service. When you look at it from an energy consumption point of view, because it's exactly what it is. When you look at it, you have a warehouse with a bunch of computers plugged into the internet, requiring a lot of energy to cool the units off because it's essentially doing a lot of computing. There is no difference. And you can sit here and say, well, the world needs ChatGPT. Does it? The world has to have an online directory that I can search, photos of kitty cats if I need to it on instantaneous demand. It is a must. We need it for society. But what we don't need is Bitcoin. That is fraudulent and we don't want it here. At the end of the day, you can't just pick and choose what you want on the internet. And that's what Bitcoin miners are doing. Bitcoin miners are essentially a computer. They just put together a big ass computer and they are just providing their compute power to operate Bitcoin. But what the hell is the difference if I operate my compute power to power AI software that happens to make AI generated photos of Trump in a jumpsuit? Like, how is that more beneficial than offering an alternative to a financial system for people that aren't even banked? Hey, I can't get a bank account, but I can get Bitcoin.
Not even.
Well, that's illegal. But you know what? If you want to use this smartphone and generate a photo of Trump locked up in prison, that's essential. That's an essential service. We need to make sure we provide that. Like, that's such horse shit we live in, man. I mean, it is. It's the same damn thing, man. It's a warehouse full of computers that are offering service in computing. That's it. Is there any difference? You got thousands of computers in an Amazon Web Service warehouse that all need cooling, that draw tons of energy, which is cool. I'm happy with it. Keep them damn things plugged in. I like my internet. But why is that have priority over my other internet application I like to use, which is Bitcoin? There's no damn sense to me, man. I do want to give a little love to the chat. We've got a lot of new people here. If you're new, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We have Verdi, Alex81, Judson, Misco, Game SSR, Grid 414, McCracken with a bunch of numbers, Jackie Handles, Hassan, Nicola, Menke, Turkey Twizzler, Stay Golden, and Ivalov, Frosted Flake. To all of you, hola! Welcome. Thank you. We're almost at 250, man. What you laughing at? What's going on?
On the shoes that I want to show you.
What kind of shoes you get?
The Asics one, the real one.
The
$200.
Oh,
The
this is
$200.
100% what Rocco would wear. I think
It's
he's
the
actually wearing a
$200.
pair right now.
It's the $200
It should be
shoes.
called A6 Italy.
There we
I feel
go.
like this is exactly what I would expect somebody to get off of a bus in Italy. Like if you were just like, the bus pulls up like, and then you see
a bunch of Mamma Mia.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Yeah. Rocco,
Yeah.
funny. Okay, so
Let's move on.
staying on Bitcoin mining just for a couple more seconds here. We had the New York Times. A lot of people called it a hit piece. Did you read this piece, Robin?
No, I haven't.
You would have.
I heard the backlash on, or I was reading the backlash on Twitter, And I haven't gone through and read the whole thing yet, though. I haven't read it at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
But I saw the synopsis and I saw the reaction, and pretty sure I already know what's in it.
If I sound dumber than I was 2 days ago, it's because I read this article. The real world cost of digital race for Bitcoin. I just have a few things highlighted here. So Texas starts here. Texas was gasping for electricity. Winter Storm Uri had knocked out power plants across the state, leaving tens of thousands of homes in icy darkness. Meanwhile, in the husk of a one-time aluminum smelting plant, an hour outside of Austin, row upon row of computers were using enough electricity to power about 6,500 homes as they raced to earn Bitcoin. The state's power grid operator ordered them to shut off under an agreement that allowed it to do so if the system was about to fall. In return, it began paying the Bitcoin company BitDeer an average of $175,000 an hour to keep the computers offline. Over the next 4 days, BitDeer would make more than $18 million for not operating from fees ultimately paid by Texans who had endured the storm. You see what they're doing here? You see what they're trying to do here? You catching on here, Robin?
No, it's caught. Yeah.
Release it now. Their operations can create costs, including higher electricity bills and enormous carbon pollution, for which everyone around them, most of whom have nothing to do with Bitcoin. And it shows pictures here. This is pictures of in buildings near Nebraska. Here we have Dalton, Georgia, is using as much power as the surrounding 97,000 households. Riot in Rockdale, Texas. We're going to stop there because we have an inside video from the CEO, or not CEO, I think the CFO or CMO or C something O of Riot Mining. And this is their mining facilities in Rockdale, Texas. And this is what it looks like. And, he tries to debunk whether CO2 emissions are what they say they are in pieces like the New York.
We're here out in Rockdale, Texas. We've got lots of plants here. These plants are consuming CO2 and emitting oxygen, which is fantastic. When we measure CO2 out here, we're in the green. There are very low levels of CO2, 455 parts per million of CO2. Just fantastic reading. Rockdale has some of the freshest air I've ever breathed. So this is a great way to establish a baseline. We're going to go inside the mining facility and we're going to see how much is this number going to go up. If the number does not go up, then the mining rigs are not emitting any CO2. If the number goes down, that would be interesting as well. So let's find out. This is where the science happens. This is the largest Bitcoin mining facility in the United States. Outside, we were at 455 parts per million of CO2. Inside, we're at 428 parts per million of CO2. So CO2 levels actually decreased a little bit by entering this Bitcoin mining facility. That might just be a measurement error. But in any case, so far our going thesis is that Bitcoin mining does not emit any CO2 at all. But let's go to an air-cooled building and see if that's the case there as well. We're on the air intake side of this air-cooled mining facility. We're still out here in Rockdale at Riot's world-leading mining facility. We're at 452 CO2 parts per million. Still in the green. This is good. This is good. We're going to see in the...
Okay, I'm not the smartest when it comes to stuff like this, right? But you would expect there not to be high levels of CO2 indoors, right? Or else you would.
Yeah, the premise is, so you know what you're seeing here is that mining itself doesn't create any CO2. It's the energy source. So if you want to say, hey, Bitcoin's not green, look at Texas, then just look at the energy source. That's it. Whether or not you plug in an ASIC miner or you plug in a refrigerator, if you're burning coal to provide that energy to the outlet, then the energy being expended is from a carbon emitting source. And that's it. And so instead of pointing the finger at Bitcoin as the problem, if you have a greenhouse gas problem due to how you're getting your energy, then why don't you go to the source? Stop wasting your time on what's plugged into the outlet. That's it.
And I think, I'm pretty sure that this guy is trolling in that sense, saying, you guys keep saying Bitcoin emits CO2. It's not the rigs that are emitting CO2. It's where the source that you draw the power from, that's what emits the CO2. But I want to finish this video. There's about a minute left. Pretty cool. Just to kind of also, even if you find this funny or whatever, just to see what it looks like inside of a massive...
The hot aisle, where the exhaust is coming out of, how much CO2 is coming out of the Bitcoin mining rigs? Let's find out. All right, we're gonna put the meter just right behind a fan so that we're blowing all of the air onto the meter, and we're gonna see what it's gonna change here in terms of measurements. We're still at 452 parts per million. This result makes me think that there might not be any CO2 coming out of the Bitcoin mining rig.
His face.
I think the science is conclusive. The data shows Bitcoin mining does not emit any CO2.
Guys, the science is conclusive. That's it.
I mean, it's just
Exactly.
a fan
He's
blowing.
trolling. That's what he's
No,
doing.
it's not a plant or a fish.
Oh man, that was good. So that was good though. But here's the funny part: any random person watching that would be like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't emit CO2."
But the sad reality, here's the sad reality to this, is that we laugh at this, but I think if you were to survey people that aren't in our space and say, "Hey, does Bitcoin mining emit greenhouse gas? Does it pollute?" I think the majority of people would say yes,
for sure.
And so even though we laugh and we're like, "Hey man, it doesn't," it does your refrigerator pollute? Does it emit greenhouse gas? And I think if you ask people like, "Hey, does your refrigerator emit greenhouse gas?" I think people would in a survey would say no. And if the next question was, "Does a Bitcoin mining produce greenhouse gas?" I think people would say yes. I truly believe that. And so I think you need videos like this, as dumb as it is for us to watch. I
It
think
wasn't dumb to watch. It was fun.
Yeah, no, just same way like you have your what is it, when you have the HR onboarding, what's that called? Orientation. When you go to orientation, you got to watch those stupid sexual harassment like videos, like quid pro quo means this for that, and then you're just like, why do I got to watch this? But there's like one creeper in the back that's like, damn it, like I can't do that. Yeah, exactly.
I've been doing it for years. Well, I can't do it anymore.
Like, I've had this nudie calendar on my in my office.
You're not allowed to suck tongue.
My wallet, there is a new calendar.
And so I think as obvious as it is for us, there are people that truly believe this narrative, because that narrative is being pushed out there by the mainstream. And this New York Times article is another sign or another voice or another prominent media figure out here trying to alienate the general public that doesn't understand Bitcoin, and that they think that, hey, a Bitcoin miner is probably just like a pressure washer you see your neighbor outside with. They're like, they're mining Bitcoin. Like, no, we're not. We're washing our house. I'm like, stop it. And then also, you know what else does not emit any greenhouse gas? It is gifted memberships. Our boy Jimmy.
Actually, I bet you we can trace back to greenhouse gases.
Yeah. So No greenhouse gas for those 10 gifted memberships. So big shout out to Jimmy. He is also across the
Robin,
8-month threshold
can we
as
do
a
Here,
whale member. So
Can we create we have the nuke drop graphic? Can
Yeah.
we create something where we thank Jimmy? And just because we're going to play it every show. Just when he gifts money or something, we just play the graphic, you know? Like
a breaking news graphic. To do the breaking
He
news.
also,
one.
Jimmy's been a whale member for 8 months.
what is that?
I don't know.
Pull that
It was
one up again. I just that was.
It's
30
an old one. I don't know.
I know it's an old one. Trump did he charge a 35?
This is an old one. Yeah.
I know it is. It's just still fun. Like, could you imagine if it was say 2016 and we're like, hey, look at the future. Here we go. This is breaking news. Former President Donald Trump is charged with 34 counts of felony. Yeah. This is interesting. First of all, I wouldn't have ever expected him to be president. And then second of all, anyways, yeah. What else we got?
I want to some big XRP news. Got big XRP news, got big Cardano news. We're going to start. Well, I want to know what the chat thinks. You guys want me to start with XRP or Cardano? Use your emojis. Start with XRP, start with Cardano. Let's see what the chat thinks. While you guys are doing that, I did end the poll we did. Will we ever see a sub 25K Bitcoin again? To which 71% of you said yes. 28% of you said no. 25K Bitcoin, sub 25K. Robin, you think we will see it again? Is that your vote? Is your vote yes?
I don't really have a vote there. I would lean on percentages. I think there's probably a 65% chance we go down to 25K. 35% chance we don't go down there anymore.
Okay.
I had to put a percentage on it.
Okay. All right. Looks like Cardano is the winner. So we're going to start with Cardano. All right. So pretty big news coming out of IOG, which is known as Input Output Group.
Sorry. Unless you're watching another chat.
What? There's been more ADAs than XRP, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so, but it's okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's start with
Well,
Cardano.
let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I saw
Broke Yoshi
Grip-
put both in there. Like, what are you doing?
That doesn't count.
Pick one or the other.
Guys, Stellar and Polygon are not part of Pay attention.
There's definitely more XRPs than
You think there's more
Cardanos.
XRPs?
Yeah,
I
there's
counted more
only 1,
Cardano.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a lot of handwritten Cardanos though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank
Cardano wins because of the handwritten votes. You casted your ballot.
Damn, Jimmy said the sloth of the crypto world. Wow. All right. Cardano developer IOG releases the Lace wallet, boosting the Cardano ecosystem. Cardano blockchain-focused development lab IOG released Lace, its first native wallet for the Cardano network. Lace is a browser-based wallet similar to MetaMask. It allows users to access the Cardano network directly and use Cardano-based dApps. Lace will enable users to send multiple assets to different addresses in one transaction with one transaction fee through a new bundle transaction feature, which groups transactions into one bundle to save costs. This is what Loopring does for Ethereum. Developers said they expect to add fiat to crypto on-ramps, a dApp store, in-wallet swaps, and staking enchantments. Is that staking enchantments? In future releases. So, Robin, the sloth of the crypto ecosystem, as Jimmy says. What are your thoughts on this? Right, bundle transactions. We already know ADA's pretty cheap to transact on, but an on and off ramp, a dApp store, in wallet swaps. What are your thoughts on that, Robin?
This isn't the first time we heard about it. So if you remember, Cardano was grouping transactions in the past, and it wasn't really deemed anything special, or it wasn't glorified by mainstream crypto enthusiasts. Like, hey, we just batched 10,000 transactions in one. We did a token transfer with 10,000 different tokens, and it was kind of like, okay, what's the point of that? Like, who's going to trade 10,000 tokens at once? And then you're like, oh, hey, you know what? Think about minting NFTs and how all of those mint at one time. You're not bogging down the network by being able to mint NFTs in one large batch. Not to mention for a throughput size, if you're, let's just say a company, for example, say you have a company with 10,000 employees, and you decide to issue a paycheck out at the exact same time and issue out pay all of your payments out at the same time, then that's going to be 10,000 transactions in one transaction. And so if you were to do that on a traditional blockchain network, we've seen what happens when you try to do a mint on the Ethereum network or the Solana network or other networks where, hey, it either costs you a ton of money or the entire network goes down. It is advantageous to have massive throughput if all of a sudden the demands are there for it. And hey, you know what? Now we have it on a retail side. Now it's not just an institutional level. Now you have, hey, you can operate this network more efficiently straight from your wallet, and you're going to see this expanded into multiple different avenues. And Cardano's doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing.
Someone asked, if I had to save Robin or Vitalik from a fast bicyclist, who would I save? That would be a very easy answer. I would save Robin.
Oh, you got to save Vitalik, bro. He is so skinny. If that bike hits him, he's done, bro.
Yeah, but
he is done, bro. It could be like the little monkey on the bicycle, or it could be a full-grown man on a bicycle. If Vitalik falls over, that's it, bro. And he is a very important man. I could take a bicyclist and I will be okay. Might have bruises and scratches, but the bruises, they go deep for Vitalik. He doesn't have a lot of muscle. So.
Now, Cardano, okay, this whole Lace wallet thing. Again, my narrative with if we want crypto to get to where it is and all this adoption and institutions and mainstream and retail and bridging the gap between traditional world and business with blockchain and crypto, we need stuff like this, but it needs to go farther than just in the Cardano ecosystem. We need a place where you can go and have access to dApps across all the layer ones, have access to swaps across all layer ones. We need it to be cheap. We need it to be easy. We need it to be multifaceted, safe. And I think we're moving in the right direction. Next thing you know, we're gonna wake up one day and we're gonna see. I know there's atomic wallets and there's atomic dexes out there, but for it to be easy in one place, user-friendly, familiar and user-friendly interface to where people can see it, like, oh, this kind of looks, like an app on my iPhone or an app on my Samsung. That's what we need to see. But I think this is great for Cardano, for you to be able to on-ramp, off-ramp, swap tokens, have access to dApps without going through like MetaMask and then going over to Uniswap and connecting here. If everything could be done from one place for the Cardano ecosystem, I think that's great. Will it have an effect on price? Probably not. But then again, we have Charles Hoskinson, who does not care about the price of his token. We're moving on to Ripple. This is pretty big. They have signed a deal with the country of Montenegro, which is where Do Kwon was arrested, may I add, for a central bank pilot or CBDC pilot. So they signed a deal with their central bank for a CBDC pilot. Blockchain provider Ripple has sealed a deal with Central Bank of Montenegro to launch a pilot program for the country's CBDC. Ripple announced on Tuesday, which is today. Central bankers opted to partner with Ripple because of the blockchain's, quote, proven track record of successfully connecting disparate payment systems and championing blockchain's utility, said James Wallace, Ripple's VP of CBDCs. Ripple currently offers services for, quote, minting, managing, transacting, and destroying CBDCs. By destroying the currency after its successful creation, excuse me, Ripple hands off full control of the CBDC to the bank. What are your thoughts on this, Robin?
It's bullish, man. Pretty badass, right?
So Ripple's going to launch it and then burn it.
Here's the thing: you got to start. You got to start with. You were talking about burning what?
By destroying the currency after its successful creation, Ripple hands off full control of the CBDC to the bank.
Yeah. We're going to see more of this, man. We're going to see more of this. You got to start with somebody small like Montenegro's tiny, man. Small little country. GDP is probably like $1 billion or something.
Way to throw a random number out there.
It can't be more than like it can't be much
GDP
more.
is $20.
It probably is. It wouldn't surprise me, man. Rocco, what's the GDP of Montenegro? Thank you. I was gonna look it up, but yeah, it's got to be tiny. But yeah,
I'm surprised it was Ripple and not, I don't know, XLM or Quant or these other ones. 5 billion.
5 billion. I wasn't far off, bro. Yeah, Montenegro's tiny, dude. God bless her. So if you're from Montenegro, put a 99 in the chat, and then it's bullish though. It's the same thing with like El Salvador. El Salvador is a small country in Latin America, especially when you compare it to the larger countries or any country in North or South America. Essentially, there's only a handful of countries that are on the same kind of level as El Salvador. But hey, if you're gonna adopt Bitcoin as your currency, it's not gonna start as a large country. Same thing if you're gonna offer blockchain services on a central bank level, and you're going to use a company like Ripple, it's going to start with smaller countries. And Montenegro, hats off to you.
XRP's price didn't really move though. I thought this was pretty big news. Obviously, yeah, the country's not, it's not the US, it's not China, it's not, Argentina, Brazil, whatever, but it's still a country. Montenegro, $6 billion in GDP. Not
But
bad.
it's not the first country Ripple signs it with. So it's not a big news for whoever's follow XRP. I mean, they've been signing with other central banks before. So.
Mm-hmm.
But does this go to people's narrative that XRP is a banker coin, is a government coin? Robin?
I mean, that's what it's built for, right? Now, whether or not they had CBDCs envisioned when they first rolled out the RippleNet, maybe that wasn't their ideal use case, but everything that Ripple offers screams CBDC payment rail, right? I mean, it's what it's built for. And I think, as time has progressed, as CBDC has become more and more of a thing, and it's been tested by other central banks, you realize, like, hey, man, the CBDC thing, Ripple is maybe they were actually, now that I think about it, maybe Ripple knew what the hell they're doing the whole time. Maybe they identified the rise of the CBDCs before it was even a main topic of conversation. In 2018, we didn't hear about CBDCs, right?
No.
And so perhaps, the smartest people in the room, Ripple, maybe they were like, hey, man, let's be the first to offer services for a central bank digital currency. We think that's going to be the de facto way of transacting for governments. And let's build it now, because it's obviously going to take some time to put together.
I wasn't just I think the tribalism about XRP being a bank coin or anything like that. It's kind of weird because also it's you care if you become a millionaire with XRP or with Cardano or Shiba. Do you really care how do you become a millionaire with a bank coin? I mean, okay, crypto, yeah, I understand all the story behind, but you really care after you become a millionaire if you make money with XRP or Doge or with anything else?
Well, here's the thing, Rocco. Some people they do care, but then again, if they care, that's why they don't invest in projects like XRP or like Dogecoin. To them, it's like, especially, the maxis, whether it's Bitcoin maxis, Ethereum maxis, whatever the case may be, they're like, I don't care. I don't believe in it. It goes against everything. I'm a Bitcoin ethos or crypto ethos guy. And,
Well, I think
XRP.
here's the thing. Making money, it's
Everyone likes making money.
Yeah, everyone makes money. It's like when a millionaire makes $1 million, when somebody makes $1 million or has an employment that essentially they're making $500,000 a year or $2 million a year. It's not like they just
It's not a big deal.
it's not like they just retire and quit. Be like, you know what, I made $1 million. Generally the population is you make more money, you end up spending more money, and then you try to get more money. That's just essentially how people are. I don't think it's going to change with people's investments, and I don't think that I think if you believe in any project, whatever, if you make money in a project, a lot of money in a project, if you make $10 million, $100 million on Shiba Inu, like you're probably going to be a Shiba Inu bull, and why wouldn't you be? If you made millions of dollars in Cardano, you probably are going to be the one beating the drum on Cardano the loudest. And you don't need to look any further than Max Kaiser. Like that guy made a lot of money. He bought a ton of Bitcoin when it was $1 or less than $100. And hey, he's one of the most vocal and outspoken people. I mean, if you've made all of your riches off of a token, then yeah, you're going to be the most bullish person out there.
I am 100% against CBDCs. Robin's a little more receptive to them, but here's the biggest reason why, and I'm going to show you a 10-second clip of our last video we just posted. So, by the way, there's a lot of new people in here. If you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe. But this video we put out, CBDC is coming. I just want to play. I want to play just the first 15 seconds, and this is why. And they flat out have come out and said it. That is why the title of this video, The End of Your Financial Freedom.
The key difference with the CBDC is the central bank will have absolute power on the rules and regulations. Those words were uttered by Augustine Carstens, the leader of the Bank of International Settlement. Love it or hate it.
That is literally what the guy said. We don't know who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who's using a 1,000 peso bill today. CBDC as a central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations. Now, name me one instance where a government has had absolute control over anything where it turned out good. That's a serious question. That's a serious question. And I recommend every single one of you in here, when we're done with this live stream, go watch this video. CBDCs are a hot talking point. They're going to continue to be. We have the Fed now is out. July, they're talking about CBDCs here in the US. You have friends and family. I know you have friends and family that ask you about CBDCs or don't know what it is. This video breaks it down for even someone who's never heard of a CBDC. It explains what it is, the potential pros, the definite cons, and what it means, how to navigate around it. Definitely go check this video out. Something I would recommend. This is one of my favorite videos that I've done. I know I said that
just
about
want to
every
add
video,
something
but-
else. I watched this video recently. It is a judge from Italy that explained why the $500 euro in Europe are actually worth of 550 euro. Because the drug dealer preferred, and you can find it anywhere, because they prefer to use the 500 euro over the dollar because they weight less. So if you need to transport $1 million in 500 euro, is less volume than bring it with the same quantity of bills if they were in dollar. So that's why also the bills is worth more. That's a crazy story that I just want to share with you guys.
That's interesting. We're already seeing, and in this the CBDC video again talks about what they're doing in Britain, what limitations they want to put on it. And so I believe the one good thing, and I know we've been crapping on the US since FTX went down, but I feel like we have more politicians and more people that are speaking out against CBDCs on both sides of the aisle.
It's definitely
Democrats and Republicans.
I thought it was just because it was just essentially kind of like a crypto thing. Like, hey, man, the CBDCs are poison, too much power, too much control. And you know what? There's been a lot of outspoken, prominent people outside of the crypto space that are speaking out against central bank digital currencies. So that's at least a relief. And the thing is when I say I'm more receptive to crypto, to CBDCs. It's off of the realization that they're coming. And I know you laugh at me when I say it, but I would just hope that there's enough people in our Congress that they will put limitations on control. And I would just hope that they pass the right bills or the right precautions to essentially not over surveillance our private spending of money.
But I think
I don't know how to word
the,
that.
The
but.
issue I have with that statement is,
and I know
I don't trust. I know,
and it makes sense. And you could, Forrest brought up a good perspective when he was on our show last week. So, would you let me know?
No, highlight that. Robco, the expert in criminal activity. He is Italian.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta be informed, man. You gotta move on millions of dollars. But Gianluca just said the 500, 200 are already illegal now. You can even
That's
have it
crazy,
anymore.
man. That is crazy.
They printed, but you can have it.
Like, I understand that less than 3% of the world's money is in cash. Over 97% is digital. So we're already kind of going there. But for you to choke off that outlet completely.
But here's the thing, like, it's going that direction regardless. It's going that direction no matter what. And to think that the government's only going to print money in the form of paper through the Treasury Department and that's it, and they're going to just let Bank of America just operate, and they're not going to have a seat at the table on how money moves digitally, it's not realistic. At some point, the government's going to plug into the system and be like, all right, if somebody's going to be dishing out this money, like, let the source be the one dishing it out, and we'll do it the most efficient way digitally from our own faucet. It makes sense. It's coming regardless. And just what I am hanging my hat on, what I am just praying for is that there is some kind of guidelines and some kind of preventative measures that prevents our government from simply saying, hey, where are you spending every single dollar? And I want to be able to control where you spend it at. Because that is a realistic possibility if there's no safeguards put in place. So, there you go.
Dan said, did I miss the huge XRP news? Yeah, you did. You're going to have to rewind, my friend. All right. We're done.
We're done? Man, we almost got to like 245. 245. Yeah, we almost got there.
I said 245 and 2 zigzags.
We do have a few new people. If you're new here, say hello before we sign off so we can drop it a whole lot back at you. We have Saeed, Raif, Crypto Reaper, BMX, SECR1Z. We got World Willem, Nas, Crypto Shock, and Dan Dykins. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City. Also, we got Arad Man as well.
Public service announcement. If you need to smuggle large amounts of cash, use a euro. Compliments of Rocco. Speaking of compliments of Rocco, we do have a Sin City merch store. You should definitely go check out. Created and ran by the Don himself. I would check this out at least once a week. Rocco's always adding new stuff on there. If you're a whale member, you get 10% off. Make sure to use your code. Also, go follow us on social media on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Discord. Please join our Discord. We to carry the conversation forward.
I was on there yesterday. I was giving you guys a sneak peek.
I was actually very surprised and proud of you, Robin, that you didn't just say hola and leave.
That's what
you actually stayed.
That's what I do.
Rocco, can we get a round of applause for Robin?
Of course.
Speaking of dropping holas, before we leave, we do have a few new people sneaking in here at the last second. We got newer jerk or new
Really start good.
any word JK. I don't know. We got Shadow as well. G Spot 361. Gotta love the G Spot. And then you also got that's it. Hola! Well,
you know, Dan Dykins said Sin City Crypto is the best crypto show on the internet.
And then as I mentioned, I will be down in Austin for consensus. So if you're planning on going there, let us know. We'd love to meet up with you.
Rocco, share that. That's dope. Share that.
Yeah, just
You just put those on there. Share that.
yeah, these
That's
are
what I'm
new.
saying. He just added these mouse pads. I haven't seen these.
Yeah, this one they're gaming mouse pads.
Why don't
That's
I-
pretty dope.
Why don't I have a cool mouse
That's
pad?
pretty dope.
You have the ones that are like the full size
Rocco,
desk
what's
one?
next? You have anything that you're thinking about? What's in the
Yeah,
pipeline?
actually, I was working with some bracelet where for men.
Is,
where you have
is that the full size one?
No,
You-
this is the full size one.
Oh, that's
Those
dope.
are- I'm gonna
It's a
order
nice
one of
one.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
a
gonna get
good,
one of
and
those.
the design
Do I
is
get a
like
discount code or what?
Oh, $40. That ain't bad.
Hold on. Do
Yes.
I get a discount code?
Pretty good.
yeah. Look at that. You see?
Is there a Sin City one, Rocco?
Yeah, there is one. Yes,
Where's the Sin City one? I want to see it.
I'm gonna find it. There we go. It's somewhere over here.
So do I get a discount on that or what?
Of course, you get a discount. You know the
Oh,
boss
Thank.
right here,
Oh, that's dope.
right there,
Oh,
man.
with the color logo in the middle though.
That looks cool, man.
Yeah, we can make it happen. Yes, yeah, there is a
Might
little
be.
logo there, but
Yeah.
all
Damn,
right.
Rocco. Okay, big dog.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff, guys. I had a lot of stuff.
Can we get some Asics with the
shoes?
Yeah.
All right,
man.
let's wrap it
Yeah.
up.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Wrap it up twice, guys. Rocco,
Yes.
No time.
Waiting for you. Where is your finger?
my finger is here. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. To all the new people, welcome to the Sinner community. Make sure to subscribe, ping the notification bell. Go watch our videos we put out. Tomorrow, ETH Shanghai upgrade. Go watch that video. Then go watch CBDC video. Then go watch all the other videos. And then come back tomorrow and watch our live stream at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we love you guys. Until tomorrow.
See you. And the link for the video is on the chat.